So a businessman took a small plane for a quick flight up the coast for a lunch meeting and then returned home. So we know he started, went out, had lunch, and then came back home. And that time took 4 hours. So the time, which is distance over speed, took 4 hours. So the time outbound plus the time home equals 4 hours. Now we know that time was different going out and coming back because there was wind. So let's assume that the wind was blowing in this direction. So that means on the way to lunch, wind was helping him, and on the way home, wind was slowing him down. So the time out, which is distance over speed, is the 200 miles. That distance is 200 miles. Distance is 200 divided by the speed. So the speed is 120 plus the wind speed, because the wind speed is helping. So let W, I'm using a variable here, so I need to declare the variable. Let W be the speed of the wind in miles per hour. Now back to the problem. The time home is also, the distance is the same, 200, but this time the wind is slowing him down. So 120 minus the wind speed, that equals 4. So we've got our equation. Now we've just got to do the algebra to solve it. I'm going to multiply by the lowest common denominator, and I'm going to multiply that through the bracket on both sides of the equation. So when I do my first multiplication, this will cancel, and I'll end up with 200 times 120 plus W. And on the second one, the denominator cancels again. So this one was already minus. Made a small mistake there. And on this one, because it was the 120 plus W that canceled, and on the last, when I'm multiplying by 4, both terms are there because there's no denominator. The 4 has a 1 in the denominator, nothing cancels. So let's get rid of some of these brackets. We're going to multiply the 200 in, so that's 24,000 minus 200W plus 24,000 plus 200W. And here you've got two multiplications, one here and one here. I'm going to multiply these two together first. Hopefully you see that that is the difference of squares. So 120 times 120 is 14,400 minus W squared. Here on the left side, these cancel, and I'm left with 48,000 equals 5,706. So I'm multiplying the 4 in here. And now I'm going to isolate the W squared using the square root principle. So subtract 57,600 from both sides to get 9,600 negative on this side minus 4W squared. Divide both sides by -4, and I have W squared equals 2,400. Now the last step is to take the square root of both sides. So on the left it becomes a W, on the right it becomes plus or minus the square root of 2,400, which is plus or minus 48.98, or if to the whole number, 49 miles per hour. So the wind speed is 49 miles per hour, but the direction could be plus or minus. In other words, it could be helping him on this end and hurting him here, or the other way around. We don't know exactly which way the wind is blowing, so both answers are actually right with the plus or minus. You can't reject either of them.